I learned he was arrested in a gym parking lot in La Mesa earlier this month. While he's facing just one charge now in connection to one woman, prosecutors say he's being investigated for crimes against at least 21 other women.
It appeared that 21 other women had...
God, bruh. CIA, what's up with y'all hiring these freaky ass individuals, man? One dude got child pornography. This dude is doing stuff to women, drugging women, and oh my God, the CIA, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all are Central Intelligence Agency. Y'all are the Central Intelligence Agency, bro. Y'all have to do a better job of screening your employees. This is crazy.
Help! 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 Help!
2008, Roland Carnaby, a Lebanese-American CIA agent, found himself pulled over by a Houston police officer for speeding along Texas State Highway 288 in his black Jeep Commander. When the officer asked about his profession, Carnaby flashed a badge indicating he was a CIA agent, yet he refused to permit officers to inspect it. Additionally, he gestured towards the red and blue strobe light mounted on his dashboard. Carnaby initially thought displaying an ID card bearing the seal of the Central Intelligence Agency would get him on his way. However, the officer was already suspicious. Carnaby's nervous behavior, the unexplained bullet hole in the left rear passenger door of his car, and the ID card he couldn't verify all raised red flags.
Carnaby, what are you doing?
What's the ID again? Not every day you talk about the CIA. I'm sorry. I'm not. Car plate.
So, the officer checked Carnaby's license in his squad car and found a concealed handgun permit. This was unusual because federal agents typically don't need such permits. Pressing Carnaby for more proof of his connection with the CIA, the officer asked for Carnaby's supervisor and a contact number for verification, but Carnaby's answers weren't convincing. Instead, Carnaby made a call to someone he knew in HPD's Internal Affairs Division. The officer spoke with this acquaintance, asking if Carnaby was indeed employed by the CIA. The response was hesitant. Possibly yes. However, this wasn't enough for the officer to let Carnaby go. Furthermore, the officer reached out to HPD's Criminal Intelligence and Major Offenders Divisions to verify Carnaby's credentials. There seemed to be some red flags associated with his name, but again, nobody was sure. Given the circumstances, the officer was advised to find a valid reason to arrest Carnaby because mere speeding wouldn't suffice. Apparently, Carnaby had failed to present his concealed weapon permit, which is against Texas law. So he was asked to step out of the vehicle, but something about this didn't sit right with Carnaby, prompting him to attempt an escape by speeding off.
I've got one of our supervisors coming out to the scene right here. Can I get you to step out of your truck for me, sir? Step out of your truck for me, sir. Step out of your truck for me, sir. Are you armed now?
During the chase, Carnaby spoke to a friend on the phone who told him to stop, but he said he couldn't. He then tried calling the FBI and someone in the Houston Police Department, but got no help. The dangerous high-speed chase lasted for 50 miles at speeds up to 120 miles per hour. Finally, Carnaby had to stop because his car was running out of fuel. But even then, he didn't cooperate with the police. The first officer approached the passenger side and broke the window with a billy club because he thought Carnaby was acting erratically and not obeying orders. Seconds later, Carnaby opened his car door and stepped out from the driver's side. As he did, he accidentally dropped his shiny BlackBerry PDA and reached to pick it up from under the seat. Unfortunately, Officer Clark was coming around to the front with his gun drawn and fired when he saw Carnaby reaching for something to prove fatal.
Damn.
Carnaby ended up falling face down on the pavement, bleeding for 12 minutes until he was finally rushed to the hospital. However, upon arrival, he was pronounced dead. After the incident, the police force seemed divided in what they should say to the public about what happened. Carnaby's lawyer, Randall Callanan, wasn't convinced the shooting was necessary.
He knew he was doing nothing wrong, so at that point, he knew it was an unlawful arrest. The facts show it was an unlawful arrest, and since he is in the CIA, he needs to protect his information and his sources, and he fled.
He wanted to know why deadly force was used since Carnaby wasn't a felon, hadn't committed any serious crimes, and hadn't even pulled out a gun. Callanan also asked to videotape Carnaby's autopsy, but that request was denied. In fact, a gag order was placed on autopsy information, even though autopsy details in Houston are typically 100% open. He also suggested bringing in the Texas Rangers to investigate and the FBI to check for any tampering with evidence because the whole situation seemed odd and he doubted that the full truth would never come out. Internal Affairs conducted an investigation and found the shooting justified, stating the officers acted as they saw fit. The police officers' union backed them, claiming they made split-second decisions. Despite this, the officer who fired Charles Foster faced discipline for breaching conduct rules. In 2010, the case reached the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, filed by Susan Carnaby, widow of the deceased. She argued the officers lacked proper training and violated her husband's rights. Despite legal battles, the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. Whereas Officer Clark remained with the Houston Police Department after the incident.
I think under every jurisdiction, the officers were justified in the action they took, however tragic it might be.
You know, it's really surprising.
Oh, bruh. Especially if he was reaching for a phone. Oh, man.
How the CIA kept denying any link to Ronald Carnaby. The black Jeep SUV he drove was supposedly owned by the National Security Command Center, which was initially thought to be non-existent, but later turned out to be an NSA appendage in Maryland. Inside the vehicle, they found 2 pistols, a shotgun, more CIA identification, a laptop, and cell phones. Strangely, all of this was confiscated by federal agents, and nothing was returned to Carnaby's wife. Some of it got taken by federal agents, and there are rumors the police got rid of some possessions and videos of what happened. Even though his house was full of CIA stuff, the agency flat out said he never worked for them. But it's really sad how the media jumped to calling Carnaby a CIA wannabe right after he died, even though he likely served the nation. But what's really messed up is that nobody came to his defense after the shooting. Can you believe it? Carnaby's lawyer was furious that instead of assisting him, the officers simply handcuffed him and allowed him to bleed out and die on the pavement. It felt more like an assassination, something Carnaby likely anticipated. However, in this next case, the CIA likely didn't anticipate one of their own agents compromising their most sensitive information. But before we get into it, a quick like would be much appreciated. Meet Joshua Adam Schultz, a former CIA software engineer currently facing up to 80 years in prison for what's being called one of the most brazen acts of espionage in American history.
Federal investigators are trying to find a CIA worker who may be a traitor. That person is believed to be the source of top secret documents revealed by WikiLeaks last month.
As if that wasn't enough, the US government still has more charges to file against him in the future. In 2009, Schulte joined the Central Intelligence Agency, taking on a role as a software engineer at the CIA's Engineering Development Group, a team that's responsible for creating hacking tools. Schulte had a unique personality. He was outspoken and never held back from sharing his opinions, even if they clashed with others. Despite his concerns about individual privacy, he worked on highly classified cyber weapons for foreign intelligence and was bound by strict secrecy rules. Over the next 7 years, he worked on various projects within the CIA, gaining access to highly sensitive information and tools. But as time
So this dude was one of the top dogs, bro, in the intelligence agency. Computers and all. That's okay, come on.
time passed, Schulte grew increasingly dissatisfied with his work environment because colleagues wouldn't tolerate his opinionated and arrogant personality. As a result, he was transferred to a different branch. However, this change didn't sit well with Schulte, prompting him to leave the CIA in late 2016, but not without brewing up a plan for revenge. When Schulte was relocated, his boss revoked his privileges to work on a project he had invested a lot of time in. Schulte perceived this as retaliation, although it was simply because he wasn't assigned to that project anymore. Despite having new projects to focus on, Schulte took matters into his own hands. On April 20th, 2016, after other developers had left the CIA office, Schulte utilized his secret server administrator session to carry out a series of cyber actions on the CIA network. He aimed to restore his revoked privileges, access the backups, copy the entire hacking tool development archives, revert the network to its previous state, and delete numerous log files in an attempt to cover his tracks. Then from his home computer, Schulte sent the stolen CIA files to WikiLeaks, utilizing anonymizing tools like the Tails operating system and the Tor browser, as recommended by WikiLeaks to potential leakers.
Schultz didn't get fired, but he got relocated and still went postal. Yeah. He's like, hold on, man, I did too much work. I invest too much time, too much work. This is my baby. Think y'all gonna take it away from me?
Finally, on May 5th, 2016, after transmitting the stolen files, Schulte wiped and reformatted his home computer's internal hard drives. Over the following months, business at the CIA agency continued as usual. However, on March 7th, 2017, WikiLeaks started publishing classified data from the stolen CIA files. Between March and November 2017, they released a total of 26 batches of data, known as Vault 7 and Vault 8. These projects contained approximately 8,761 documents and several hundred million lines of code, featuring tools capable of hacking into nearly every consumer device imaginable, including Apple and Android phones, TVs, and laptops. Once compromised, these devices could be used to activate microphones and cameras. This leak turned out to be one of the largest breaches of classified information in US history.
The CIA has already been embarrassed after former employee Edward Snowden leaked classified information which revealed top-secret global surveillance programs. He now lives in exile in Russia under threat of prosecution in the US. The latest data dump, which hasn't been authenticated, claims the CIA developed a malware to infect Android and iPhones to allow easier surveillance, but lost control of the technology. This would allow the CIA to steal data from targets overseas and turn ordinary mobile phones into surveillance tools. And having...
Bruh. So, they did stuff against the... So, was Schultz on his way to Russia? Because the other dude, he did his thing and went to Russia. So, America can't go to Russia and arrest the man? Do anything to America, you alright, you go to Russia, you safe. Come on, bro, that's crazy. I guess America said, we ain't messing with Putin. That's crazy. Don't do nothing to, hey guys, don't do nothing crazy, man.
Lost control of the technology, hackers worldwide could use the program to steal data.
It severely undermined the CIA's ability to gather foreign intelligence, jeopardized the safety of CIA personnel and programs, and incurred losses totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. It was so serious that the former CIA deputy director called it the digital Pearl Harbor.
Damn, he's sweating.
It was so serious that...
Man, Schultz, you got this man sweating at the press conference. Nervous?
The former CIA deputy director called it the digital Pearl Harbor. Eventually, the agency launched an investigation and found enough evidence to confirm that Schulte was behind the data breach. Prosecutors also revealed that Schulte had received thousands of images and videos of child sexual abuse. This material was discovered in Schulte's New York apartment.
What? They found the material in Schulte's New York apartment and encrypted container beneath 3 layers of password protected carriers. If anyone knows, it's a real source statement. Oh, they found child pornography, bro? So this dude was a pervert, or are they trying to frame him? You know how they be saying? XCI saw working this shit for 40 years. Man, hold on, dog. Are they trying to frame him because he leaked all that stuff?
Was behind the data breach. Prosecutors also revealed that Schulte had received thousands of images and videos of child sexual abuse. This material was discovered in Schulte's New York apartment, stored within an encrypted container protected by 3 layers of password security. At the FBI's request, NYPD officers arrested Schulte, and on July 13, 2022, Schulte was convicted at trial of 8 federal charges related to what was described as the largest theft of classified information in CIA history. Additionally, he was found guilty at separate trials on March 9, 2020 for contempt of court and making false statements, and on September 13, 2023 on child pornography charges. Finally, Joshua Adams Schulte was sentenced to 40 years in prison for his involvement in espionage and child pornography offenses. Moving on to the next case, we have an ex-CIA...
40 years in federal prison, bro. You gotta do like 38, 30, maybe 35.
agent accused of drugging and sexually abusing unconscious women. Meet Brian Jeffrey Raymond, a former CIA officer and longtime spy for the United States. He lived in government-paid housing in Mexico City, where he worked out of the embassy and spoke fluent Spanish. In May 2020, Mexico City police responded to a call about a naked woman screaming for help from Raymond's apartment balcony. According to court documents, the woman's last memory was drinking wine with Raymond during a date at his U.S. Embassy-leased home before blacking out. She also claimed that he had sexually assaulted her. As a result of this statement, an investigation was launched, which ultimately resulted in numerous charges.
Court documents said Brian Jeffrey Raymond grew up here in San Diego County. I learned he was arrested in a gym parking lot in La Mesa earlier this month. While he's facing just 1 charge now in connection to 1 woman, prosecutors say he's being investigated for crimes against at least 21 other women.
It appeared that 21 other women had...
God, bruh. CIA, what's up with y'all hiring these freaky ass individuals, man? One dude got child pornography. This dude is doing stuff to women, drugging women, and oh my God, the CIA, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all the Central Intelligence Agency. Y'all are the Central Intelligence Agency, bro. Y'all have to do a better job of screening your employees. This is crazy.
Stepped forward, reporting similar incidents of drugging and sexual assault. According to federal prosecutors, Raymond was described as an experienced sexual predator who exerted power and control over unconscious women by undressing them, sexually assaulting them, photographing them, and recording them without their knowledge or consent. Well, Raymond didn't waste any time and bounced back to the United States the day after the investigation kicked off. With the COVID-19 pandemic going on, he had to quarantine in Virginia for 2 weeks, after which he resigned from the CIA. Even the agency wasn't happy with his actions and publicly condemned Raymond's crimes. Thanks to CIA Director William Burns, he even kicked off some reforms in May to sort out claims, help victims, and crack down on misconduct faster. And while all this was going down, State Department agents got their hands on a warrant to dig through Raymond's phones. Surprisingly, upon examining Raymond's devices and iCloud, investigators found nearly 500 videos and photographs of naked and unconscious women. Among these, many show Raymond touching the victims, including opening their eyelids, groping, or straddling them. These disturbing images dated from 2006 to various stages of Raymond's career, with victims identified in locations such as Mexico, Peru, and other countries. In fact, Raymond tried to delete these pictures and videos when he became aware of the search warrant, but eventually, the authorities managed to recover everything. Law enforcement also found some disturbing Google searches. These included phrases like passed out black girl, deep sleep, Ambien and alcohol side effects, and vodka and Valium. Furthermore, his YouTube history contains several videos showing unconscious or passed out women. Raymond even attempted to buy chloral hydrate from an online pharmacy, claiming it was for his insomnia. Finally, in October 2020, Raymond was arrested in San Diego. Since then, he has been held without bail in a Washington, D.C. jail for over 3 years. Later, he admitted guilt to 4 of the 25 charges he initially faced, which included sexual abuse, abusive sexual contact, coercion and enticement, and transportation of obscene material. If found guilty, Raymond could face a prison term ranging from 24 to 30 years, along with mandatory restitution of $10,000 to each.
Bro, he better get more time than R. Kelly. That's for sure. This man's a predator, bro. For sure. 24 to 30 years, that's a slap on the wrist. With all the women he done sexually abused.
Victim. But then Raymond's lawyer discovered that the way law enforcement agents seized his iPhone and many other evidence was potentially flawed and unconstitutional, suggesting they may have violated his rights.
A case against a former CIA officer who's accused of drugging and sexually abusing unconscious women could soon collapse. A judge is set to hear arguments tomorrow. She's expected to decide whether federal agents botched the execution of a warrant that they used to search the defendant's phones.
They argued that if the evidence was gathered unlawfully, it could discredit the entire investigation and lead to Raymond's case being thrown out or his sentence reduced. As a result, his sentencing was postponed, and now Raymond is scheduled to be sentenced in September 2024. And that's it for today, folks. Please hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe.
We will be covering that nonsense, man. But let's get it. Come on, bro. CIA got some freaky individuals in the CIA, man. What's going on? They need to do a better job screening their employees, dog. Y'all already know. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.